Thursday marks the beginning of the NCAA tournament, known as March Madness. It's a time of year when everyone in the office creates a bracket, and sometimes productivity can drop for a day or two. Tonight's game was not the one the Brewers wanted, but it was the one the Cubs needed. I caught up with some of the younger modified Star Car drivers, and even though they're kids, what they're doing is big business. Third quarter ends, the music starts. What do we do now?
We jump around.
The Wounded Warrior team did win today's game. They just scored one touchdown, but that was enough. Pull.
Turns out it's a lot harder than it looks, but after moving a little bit closer,
pull.
There you go.
The Wisconsin Badgers worked for their 49 points on Saturday. After a tough loss against Michigan last week, they bounced back against the Fighting Illini. Dakota, first I have to say, what an incredible game. We'll have highlights later in the show to show you the full extent of the action. Jerry Kramer retired 50 years ago, and this year, he was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame. After yesterday's 14-8 loss to the Cubs, Craig Counsell said those last two games had football scores, but that was not the case this afternoon as the Brewers held the Cubs to just 2 runs with an extended performance by Josh Hader.
The fun thing about pitching is there are going to be days where you execute your pitch and they still hit it, and there's days where you don't execute that pitch and they don't hit it, or vice versa.
Today was one of those days. Hader executed his pitch and the Cubs just could not meet it. Craig Counsell put Hader on the mound in the 7th inning and retired all 8 batters he faced. That keeps his ERA at 0 for the year after 5 performances.
I think my biggest goal coming into this year is trying to be consistent as possible. Just with my delivery, my arm slot, my hand position. That's one of the biggest things that I really focused on, and I think that's really what's helping me this early on.
The Brewers put 4 on the board offensively, including a Christian Yelich 2-run homer off his first pitch of the game. The 408-foot slam was the 100th of his career, but it also marked another milestone against the Brewers' NL Central rival.
Yeah, that was my first one as a Brewer against the Cubs, which is kind of crazy since we play them so much. But yeah, they got great pitching, and I always seem to pitch me tough.
The Brewers head to LA for 2 series, first against the Angels, then the Dodgers later this week. In Milwaukee, Rose McBride, Newswatch 12. Ellen Lewis grew up in Milwaukee watching players like Gilbert Brown and Nick Barnett on TV.
I grew up a Packers fan. I've always been a Packers fan.
Today he got to take the field with those former Packers for a game of flag football.
There's no better feeling out there just to chew in the same dirt with some of the greats as Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Lewis was deployed to Iraq in 2001, and he lost both of his legs. But he hasn't let that stop him from picking up a football.
Being able to run down the field and not knowing my limitations and then pushing them and seeing that I still have that ability, and I'm grateful for it.
Marine Corps veteran Jeremy Stengel, another Wisconsin native, also pushed his limitations on the field.
The play on Lambeau Field was great. To catch a pass on Lambeau Field was mind-blowing.
Playing at Lambeau was more than just an experience. The Wounded Warrior team came out looking to win.
Competition was fierce. You cheated.
But the Wounded Warrior team also provided some fierce competition for the Packers alums.
Man, them guys is fast though, man. I'm all tired.
Former Packer Nick Barnett came out to play today to honor the veterans and have a chance to thank them for their service.
Nothing more inspiring than watching guys who put everything on the line for our country and for everything that we see daily.
The former Packers have played on Lambeau Field dozens of times, but this time was special for both teams.
Just to play against them and, meet with them, laugh with them, joke with them, hang with them, it's truly amazing.
trap shooting isn't the most traditional high school sport. But teens are embracing it, and the sport is soaring in popularity.
Since we joined our conference, going from approximately 17 teams to about 42 teams in the northern half of the state.
The Tomahawk Claybusters youth team started 5 years ago. Since then, more and more kids have wanted to be a part of it.
It started off with just not even 10 kids, and it's grown rapidly, so it's fun.
Part of the reason it's growing so fast is because it's easy to get the hang of. Or at least, so I was told. I had to try it out for myself.
Pull.
Turns out it's a lot harder than it looks, but after moving a little bit closer,
pull.
There you go.
I hit my first clay target. The shooters told me getting good at the sport just takes practice and repetition.
A big part of trap is It's all a mental game, so you want to shoot as many rounds as possible before you actually compete.
While it might be a non-traditional sport, the feeling of being on a team is the same.
If I'm having like a really frustrating time shooting, they always tell me to take my time, and I don't know, they're really pleasant and I like coming here.
In Tomahawk, Rose McBride, Newswatch 12.